Oh, a beautiful day. We just had some rain and it had really cleaned up the atmosphere. Now we get all these beautiful colors coming through, and you can hear the ocean. And I really, in times of need and of confusion and of, just the unknowns of life, nature is here for us. And I'm always reminded, the elements are always whispering in my ear, hey, just go outside. Just go sit on the ground, just be around us. And we offer solutions and comfort. And developing a relationship with the land is important. And that comes from reciprocity, really giving, offering to the land, even song and dance. That was, in my tradition, Scottish-Irish traditions, the songs, poetry, they were very important as offerings to the land. And, there's a lot of really interesting information that comes from old books. And there's a lot of ways that our history has been altered through time. Nothing changes more than the past. And this is really true in a lot of ways. And when you go way back into these books that were written down, well, first of all, having a book made long ago is really more valuable and important. And even they were hand copied before they could mass print things. So these were, really interesting texts that had a lot of original understanding of language, etymology, and cultures all over. And, they were the narratives of the day. And today we have different narratives that never existed long ago. The narratives of separation are really big now. And I think long ago there was more of a focus on recovering and sustaining and how to cultivate for your survival. And, some technologies existed long ago that were really important, and they got lost. So I don't think we came from necessarily primitive. I actually think there were many things going on all at once. And this is true in our reality today. One thing can be true and another thing can be true. It's not this or that. It's not black or white. So it's good to remember that. And I'm thinking a lot about narratives, because, there's a lot of narratives flying around in the social media space that may not be true. They may be true for some people, maybe not for others. And, people develop narratives based on information that may not be true. So this gets into the whole narrative, counter-narrative, psyop, counter-psyop. I learned a lot about this during 2020 because I found myself in a counter-narrative, really deeply committed to my counter-narrative, and then realizing that was creating a lot of separation. And where did I get my information from in the first place? It's actually coming from the same source. That source is the source of all information, the media, which is a company, which is a corpse, a dead entity. And so the source of our information, now people tell me all the time, oh, I don't watch the news, da, da, da. But they don't, the news is one thing. People may still be watching the news, but all this information is going out through social media, through memes, through what seems harmless, but spreads like wildfire. I only get, if I look through my social media, I only get these texts and these posts that are 10,000 people have liked them at least. I'm not getting my friends who only have a few hundred followers their posts so much. I'm getting these big mass, and it's like they're being I don't even want to like them, even if I do like them, because I know it's part of narrative developing, and I really decided last year when I started to observe my narratives that I was going to trust in this reality no matter what. Now that was a very once I did that, I was like, oh, I'm in these, I have these different programs running that aren't mine, that are my family lineage, that come from a lot of different places. And I just decided I'm not going to entertain those anymore. And this came with also, working with wounded ancestors and setting boundaries with them. Because this stuff comes from a lot of different places within my history. And everything in this reality is all one. It's all in the field. So that's why the past, present, future is all one. And this is the physics of this reality. So this is why you do trauma work, heal ancestral wounds. You do a lot of work to clear the field so you can be more present, because all this stuff kind of pulls you out of the present moment. And it's been a year of trust, and no matter what. And it's really, what's happened is I don't stress anymore about things. Stress, worry, these kind of things upset the body and upset the brain and cause dysfunction and cause disease. So doing that and being like, every moment that I get into, get triggered and don't have this or don't have that, and need this and need that, I just go into a manifesting mode. And the manifesting mode is going to the highest timeline. Because if you go into these triggers, the outer reality is always going to be triggering you, by the way. It's never going to be fixed. It's always going to be broken and this crazy, duality. So just remember that. If you're waiting for it to be solved, it's not going to be solved, and I'm not negative. I just recognize patterns. And the more we move away from even paying attention, giving our attention, we're paying with life force to these realities that aren't ours. They want us to take them on. Who's they? The big corporations. I don't even go left, right. Left, right, those birds, that's a bird with, the wings of the same bird. Right wing, left wing. That is a whole thing to get us fighting and hating. You have hate in your heart for somebody politically. Well, that's on you. It hurts you. It doesn't hurt them. So, recognize that. That we're being manipulated all the time. So what is the narratives? What is the voice in your head saying? And there's all these, I've gone down all these rabbit holes about parapsychology and all this, and they're always like, oh, is there a voice in the head? It's like, yeah, there is. Can we just acknowledge that and like move forward and like get to having the right messages, the right messaging in the head, the right story, because these other stories, they aren't necessarily you. They can be from your line. Look how gorgeous it is. God, I can't stop looking at it. Anyways, looking at narratives and trusting. Trust in your purpose for being here. That is important, to trust, no matter what. That is what they don't want, our trust in this reality.